nair forward. Yeah, but it's like, oh god, short hop back air. Very not good in this matchup. The only thing, yeah, no, it just loses short hop back air. The only thing it beats is nair forward. So that means it's okay in this meta, but it's not really that great on you. That should have been death. Oh wow. Well, okay, so you could actually I could argue you could kind of see that coming when from let's see the right position. Right after Leffen does that dare I was talking about, I could actually tell you that he might lose. Why does he have two stocks? Go video. All right, hold on. Yeah, he's like just rushing from really far away. See, that was okay. But he can't contain himself, so Ice just stayed in one place. And Ice staying in one place actually did benefit him this time. And see, we see Leffen like not having a very good rhythm, just kind of being really jerky. Yeah, so we notice that his inputs are getting kind of jerky. Yeah, we notice his inputs are getting really jerky, and we notice his rhythm is not very good, where Ice has had a pretty good rhythm. So it's not surprising that Leffen would just keep messing up his tech like that. Leffen also did like a double shine by the edge. And Leffen never double shines, if you notice that.
Do you attribute that kind of... You call it like a technical...
I mean, it's kind of an interactive element. Tech skill doesn't exist in a vacuum. Like, I am not, 50 technical on a scale from 0 to 100, because that's going to fluctuate. If you watch Mewtwo, the easiest example is Mewtwo King. If you watch him when he's like up a stock, or he just got a combo and the crowd's hype, he's going to look like amazing, and he's going to look like, the king is returned or whatever. And then if you watch him when he's down a stock, or he just got whooped like the first stock, then it's like he's going to be missing everything, throwing bad forward smashes, missing edge dashes, classic Mewtwo King stuff. But it's like he's the same guy, so his tech skill is not constant. So I mean, you could say that like because he's inconsistent, it's lower, but it still doesn't capture the fact that like sometimes it's still really high because he's doing well.
So when that does happen, is that like a big element? Take a notice, whatever you're doing can put it.
Yeah, like it's another indicator that like you're messing that person up, that they're starting to miss stuff. And like and as a player that's fighting against someone, you can prevent this by having certain ways to draw yourself back to a comfort zone to where you're always executing mix-ups that like they have to deal with. The problem is that if they start getting through your comfort zone stuff, then you can start panicking, and that's how people get to instinct plays, and that's where Mango likes to get people. And they have to start going on their instinct plays by getting through their comfort zone
Is
stuff.
it ever worth it to try to like really flesh out where top level have to be? Makes it like riskier to that way, or just play like.
I don't have a very good answer for that kind of question yet. I'm kind of working on it. I think
does it just depend on the player?
I mean, it kind of depends on the player because it'll take different ways to get to that point. But so far, my answer to that is you have your own game plan and you want it to be as flexible as possible. And in my case, I like it to put a certain type of pressure on someone, and I like being able to observe watching them break down like that, and then letting them kind of flail at me, and then I take advantage of it.
Such a mean way to do it.
I guess, but I think like
it's effective.
I don't know. I don't think it's very different from like the way Mewtwo King does it. Mewtwo King actually, I could argue he does it worse because he just does it based on like not approaching. So it's like they just feel scared by his presence all the time and then run at him.
But there's nothing like gay about that kind of hitting into.
People often don't like it, but there isn't necessarily anything disrespectful about it.
Part of the game.
Yeah, but there's still a stigma against like defensive play. I, 'cause, like, I don't know. 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 I don't know No, despite it being, well, no, that's partly why you have all the Fox players doing so well.
I would really
Wait,
love to
so
see Pablo.
I would be interested in seeing that. I think the only person that would do that is Zero, though. And like as good as he can get at Smash games, I could see it happening. But I don't think, or I don't know if he would be doing it. I don't know what he would turn into in this game. I feel like in Fox Dittos he couldn't really do it, but against Falco, I could even see him trying it. And against like Peach and Pop, he would definitely do it.
Uh,
I don't really. Zero is often more motivated than Mewtwo King. I think that's all. I think that's the large difference between the two of them. Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
I guess so, yeah.
fuck talent, nigga. Hard work, nigga.
Eddie from the shadows. Yeah, I rewound
I mean, but
just
that's
to
true.
He does bring up a good point. A lot of your not really like
I don't know. I don't even think it was predisposed. I actually think him growing up in Chile actually ended up being an advantage for him once he overcame the obvious disadvantage of being separated from the largest part of the Smash community because he had to do so much work and he
Oh
had to
yeah,
like develop.
I was just referring to like the talent thing.
I don't really like the notion of talent, and I think it undercuts a lot of interesting developmental ideas. So I don't
That's true.
prefer to use it in conversation.
I mean, but there are some talented players, though. Like, in some
There are some
aspect,
people that
right?
have worked hard, or there are people that have had fortunate early developmental experiences. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the only guy I think who was, like, talented in some ways, like, Mango. Just by
I
the
don't
way he
think he's
plays.
talented.
You don't?
No, he just. I actually thought about this. People say it's talent because, like, well, first of all, Mango just pretends that he acts like he doesn't have to do anything and he's good, which is a complete lie. I used to talk to Homemade Waffles a lot, and he was always like, Mango would always just bother me to upload videos, and he would just be bugging me on AIM, like, even before I got home, he'd just be like, yeah, upload them, dude, I'm trying to watch. And he's like, and then Mango would just sit around and watch his videos a whole lot, and he's putting in all the time in the game. He's not writing out his ideas or whatever like I do. That doesn't mean he's not putting in any less work. He had to put in
Oh,
a ton
yeah,
of work to
yeah.
get it as good as he did.
I mean, but, like, it just seems like Mango's, like, I think, like, when it comes to the technical aspect of the game, it feels like there's some more talent put into that.
Okay, so there's the obvious thing where everyone's like, well, there's something different about him. And I'll tell you, I agree. But it's not like because of some ungodly Mango factor that no one can understand. It's,
Find it
Mm-hmm.
I
disrespectful.
actually, I find the way Mango carries himself exceptionally disrespectful, yeah. But I don't think that's news to anyone.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I just mean that is like that kind of trying to portray almost like an.
well, yeah, and then I'm not getting into that. Um, the reason that he has this different thing, I think, is actually because he grew up in an area where he had to learn a lot through observation, and he actually just didn't like school and never really was motivated for it. I think like at least like myself, Armada, and Hungry Box were. So he ended up having a very different approach to learning, where he learned through observation a whole lot. And that's also why he's so good with people, because he just learned a whole lot about people through observation, interacting with them, and he's able to kind of use that to his advantage. So he did very basic like trial and error observing and retesting that a lot of people who want to learn would rather like write and then restudy to figure out how to do it. So he has the advantage of being able to do that sort of thing, but he has the disadvantage that he loses a lot of efficiency that the typically school taught mentality has.
So
Hmm.
crazy that like even in a game there's that element.
Yeah, we are people playing the game. And I think a lot of discussion that goes on misses that, unfortunately.
I mean, there's a lot of sport mentality in the whole game when it comes to like a
I agree.
person.
Well, it gets removed in a lot of the fight combos.
Well, I mean, like
Yeah,
grand scheme, it's definitely like a sport.
Well, I think it's because of like
yeah.
how much role you have in those other games. Like, kind of just take your time, like learning the combo, get proficient in the, not really interacting in this.
Yeah, but I think I'm not really sure because I don't have enough exposure to the other games to really comment. I know that you have the most freedom of expression in this game, but I would be very surprised if like Mango couldn't learn rules and stuff like that in the other games. However, I think that because he's used to being so free form about the way he lives, that he wouldn't like those more restrictive other fighting games.
Is
So there's a certain thing that has this game that certain people are drawn to it
I don't know.
over
This
the other
game is like
fighting
a
games.
lot like observation, and I feel like sport mentality wise, it's a lot like tennis, and like other fighting games are a lot like boxing.
I
But I
actually
don't know if you guys
think
ever like
I actually think this game is super like boxing.
really. I can
Not
see
in the
that. Yeah, I
sense,
can see that.
well,
I can
based
see
on
that with
like
like
how I dash dance and like the way I've learned
well,
it. I've actually taken a little bit from boxing.
just because these guys are fighting, like
I
the way
actually
you
think this
play
game is
tennis is
closer
more
to
of like a
fighting
zoning.
than actual fighting.
mm, hmm yeah. I don't know. But I guess let's get back to like dissecting this match and
Back to them.
As they say, yeah, I'm gonna go back a couple minutes or a couple seconds just to watch Leffen's interesting choices that led to his air dodge, so people can kind of get a sense for that. Because no action exists in a vacuum; it exists relative to every other action. Basically, what it means is you can figure out why he did the air dodge if you looked at what happened beforehand. Go video, please. Well, I can move the time, but I can't start it. I'm just trying to click play.
Play.
I mean, not right now. I don't know why.
I just
Okay, I
clicked
think it just.
play and it played.
Oh, okay, okay. I think you needed your guys' stuff to catch up. Okay, now we're good. Now I should probably go.
Play, Eddie.
Maybe.
Hit play. Now it's playing. I'm not hitting play. So
Okay, maybe I don't have control over this after all. Oh well.
It has the pause on buff.
so Peepee, like when people are watching videos, what should they be looking for or
The
studying?
simple form is watch when someone gets hit. Figure out why.
So like when you mean by that, you mean like just start from the beginning of the situation and go step by step on how they got there and why they got hit.
You can even watch it and then like look at like why like someone gets hit and you're like, can I explain that? And then you like if you're let's say you want to I mean you play Fox and then you'll watch like all right I want to know how to fight Marth, so then you'll watch like I don't know Pew versus SFAT from Do You Fox with it, and then like Pew gets hit and you're like all right well how did that Fox deal with like hitting Marth, what did he do? And it's like and then he
Mm-hmm.
hits it and, all right can I figure out why that happened? And if you're like no, there are one of two things you can do. You can rewind and watch more,